Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. There is a life-changing opportunity available right now. Literally life-changing. So what am I talking about? I am talking about the IEC visa. It's also called the Working Holiday Program or Working Holiday Visa. It's International Exchange Canada. Super quick summary, it's a program between 35 select countries that allows people who participate to live and to work in another country. You can live there for 6 months to 2 years at a time. Some countries have a limit on how many times you can participate and some do not. I'm assuming you'll all hear about the opportunity to move and work in Canada. So my video is mainly going to be speaking to the Canada Working Holiday Visa. Every country has different rules and requirements. Things like eligibility, age requirements, the length of stay, how many times you can participate all vary between different countries. But generally, you have to be between 18 and 35 and you get 6 months to 2 years on a visa. So every time I say something may be required, you should check the rules of the country you're participating from. There are 4 stages that I'm going to summarize. It will be a complete guide from application to landing in Canada. Step 1, become a participant in the IEC Canada pool. At this stage, it costs no money and there is no commitment and you can totally back out. There are scheduled times when you put yourself forward into a pool of people who would like to be considered for the opportunity. Well, as we talk right now, the pool is open, and if it's not, it will be open soon. Usually the pools run from autumn to autumn. I'm going to leave a link below where you can check the schedule for when the pool's open. So when you submit yourself to the pool, that submission is only valid for as long as the pool is open. When the pool is closed, that submission is expired and you would need to resubmit yourself to the next pool should you wish. I recommend that you start with the eligibility questionnaire. By starting there, you already know if you're eligible for this opportunity. After you complete the questionnaire, you will be supplied with a personal reference code like this. You have to be very careful when filling in this questionnaire because it could misinform you that you are or are not eligible for the opportunity when in fact you could be or could not be. This is one of my special tips. For example, first question is, what do you want to do in Canada? To participate in the IEC program, select travel and work. Another pro tip, if you're from the UK and selecting your territory, select British citizen and not United Kingdom and colonies. Otherwise, the questionnaire will ask you minor questions about your current status. At the end, you'll be given a link to create a profile if you wish to continue in the process. You will enter the code that you were given. To create your profile, you'll be asked passport information, ID information, basic information, and contact information. So should you get to the point of being invited, this is a profile that you'll use to continue your application. Pro tip, if you find the website to be very glitchy like I did, I recommend not letting it time out at any point. Always log yourself out first, and if you're still having trouble, open your session in private browser or incognito mode. That seriously helped me a lot. You should complete your profile in 60 days and you can only have one profile at a time. However, you could be eligible for other programs under the IEC. The IEC has 3 different streams. Working Holiday Visa gives you an open work permit, which means you can work anywhere in Canada and for whatever employer you want. You can change jobs, you can be more casual and flexible. It really is for someone that wants to move around freely. Young Professionals gives you an employee-specific work permit, meaning as long as you're in Canada, you should only be working for that one employer in one location, and you cannot be self-employed. The International Co-op is an internship category. It gives you an open work permit, but you must be a student, and the internship has to be related to your studies. So the one profile you created, you can submit to any of those categories that you are eligible for. At this point, you are not applying for a work visa. You are expressing your interest in any of these programs under the IEC. From here on out, I'll be using the Working Holiday Visa, the Open Work Permit as a reference point for my video. Pro tip, think about the timing of when you apply to pools. Yes, if you do get the visa, you'll have a year from being accepted to enter Canada, and then once you go, you'll start your visa. However, if you want to buy yourself more time than a year, maybe you should apply for a later pool because your application could be processed very quickly. For example, I was invited to apply within 2 weeks. However, it could be a couple months. A lot of people will tell you to start getting your documents ready now that you submit yourself to the pool. That's a personal decision because things like your police certificate expire after 6 months. So if you don't get called from the pool, you'll have a certificate that will be void when you apply the next time, if you apply the next time. Step 2, invitation to apply. This is where you apply for your work permit. By random selection, you will get an invitation to apply for work visa. From this moment, you have 10 days to accept and begin your application. Now, once you get this, you can feel very comfortable and confident that this is a likely opportunity. So well done. Once you start your application, you'll have a further 20 days to complete it and submit it. And now, if you waited, you can start gathering your documents. Another pro tip. Remember I said you have 10 days to start your application? Why not use that to buy yourself more time as you're gathering your documents? Apply for your police certificate and start getting other things together and accept, and then start your application on the 7th or 8th day. I wouldn't say push it to the 9th because again, that website sometimes has problems, sometimes it's down for maintenance, so don't cut it too close. Let's talk about what you need to submit. Police certificate. It's different requirements across different countries, but it has to be as recent as the last 6 months. It's required for every country since the age of 18 that you've spent more than 6 months in a row, as well as the current country that you're in. Medical exam certificate. If required, you need to submit a medical exam certificate. In most cases, you will need to submit one if you lived and traveled in certain places, you plan to work in health, the school system, childcare, or elderly care. I'll include a link below so you can easily check if you need to submit one. Your CV or resume. I personally did not change my format to match a North American resume format. I kept my UK CV format and that was fine. Pro tip, please do not leave any gaps of time unaccounted for. If you're on holiday, if you were on an internship, if you were studying, if you just didn't have any form of employment, please state so. Give some explanation. A copy of your passport. Your passport has to be valid when you apply and valid when you enter and depart Canada. It doesn't have to be the same passport, it just has to be valid. Pro tip, if your passport's going to expire, apply on your old passport and then send the update through your account. You need a digital photo and family information form. At this point, you'll have to pay the fee of 153 Canadian dollars and a participation fee of $100. And after you submit your application and pay those fees, you may get a letter that requires you to go and get your biometrics done. If you need to submit biometrics, you will usually get a follow-up letter within 24 hours of submitting your application and paying the fees. The letter will tell you that you need to make an appointment to get your biometrics done, and it will list all the places you can get your biometrics done. You can do this from anywhere in the world. You have 30 days to submit your biometrics, and you need to have this letter in order to get your biometrics done. You will pay a biometrics fee of $85. I'm going to include a link to a document checklist below. This will help you organize your document gathering journey. And another tip, please do not worry if you're not going to get all your documents back on time, especially your police certificate, which might take longer than usual. All you have to do is keep your account updated. You can submit proof that you've applied for these documents and have paid for them if necessary with a letter of explanation, and you upload that to your account. You can upload that letter in replacement of the document, or you can use a web form. You would have shown that you've taken the steps. I applied for the wrong police certificate and then had to reapply for the right one, which brought me over the time limit. The web forms and letter of explanations are your best friends and very useful tools for communicating with the government. I want to summarize all the fees that you will pay. Participation fee of 153 Canadian dollars. Open work permit holder fee of 100 Canadian dollars. Biometrics fee of $85. Police certificate, country dependent. Medical, if required. Travel insurance policy for the length of your stay. Flights and travel to Canada varies, but I recommend using Google Flights or Skyscanner. And at minimum 2,500 Canadian for proof of funds. Okay, and you've done it. You've now applied for your visa. Your visa might take 6 to 8 weeks to process. I will admit that mine was a lot quicker than I thought it would be, and maybe it was a slow time. At this point, it's your last opportunity to back out. Beyond this point, there are no refunds for anything. Pro tip: not every email notification you receive will be a decision, will be anything substantial. Sometimes you get an email and you can't even see what's changed on your application, in your account. It's like a ghost email. It's so weird, but I know. Just chill. Step 3, entering Canada. Your application has been processed, and guess what? You get that letter in your account that says your application has been approved, and you're like, this is real. I actually have to go now. I'm not prepared at all. Or that's just me. That letter is called your Port of Entry letter, or POE for short. You now have 1 year to enter Canada and then claim your visa, and only once you enter does the time on your visa begin. This letter tells the border service agent that the government of Canada will let you live and work in Canada as long as he lets you in. Whatever time in the year should you land on the border of Canada, that agent should check. It cannot be said that they check for every single item every single time, but they should check that you have this letter, that you have insurance for the duration of your visa, that you have proof of funds, at least 2,500 Canadian. Pro tip: please at least double this. If you can, do not arrive with the bare minimum. It's doable, but if you want a cushion, a comfy cushion, especially if you're not arriving with a job, I would say 5,000 Canadian dollars. Aim for that. The proof of funds should be a statement from your bank that is no older than a week, and you should declare anything over $10,000. To be safe, bring all the documents that you used to apply, even the family information form and your CV. You can have it on USB, you can have it on your laptop, and you can have them printed. Better to be safe than sorry. Before you step away from that desk, please don't forget to check for these things. Check your new visa, that your name is spelled correctly. Check the end date is correct. It should be 6 months, a year, but sometimes 2 years from today's date. And check that it says open under employer and open under location. Step 4. Some tips for your first week and general information that is handy to know. So visitors to Canada are required to have an ETA, electronic travel authorization. You get one automatically with your work permit, and it's actually on the second page of your port of entry letter. Either keep that safe or copy that number onto your phone, because you will need it when you're traveling in and out of Canada. You're categorized as a temporary resident. Be mindful of that when you're applying for things like bank accounts and jobs, etc. It was hard for me to know what I was because it was a work visa, but you are a temporary resident. In most 99% of cases, you will not be able to extend your IEC visa. After your time is up and you've had all your rounds of participation, 1 or 2, you will need to apply for permanent residency or PR to remain in Canada, and that is a whole other process. Your job may also apply on your behalf or apply for a work permit on your behalf. Your SIN number, your social insurance number, you can get this from the airport the minute you land at the Service Canada desk. Otherwise, you can go to any Service Canada location once you leave the airport. You will need a social insurance number to open a bank account, to apply for jobs, etc. You need a visa, your social insurance number, and your passport to apply for a bank account in Canada. Oh, tip: please look into newcomer packages. These are bank accounts, especially for people new to Canada. They're mindful of the fact that you might not have a credit history, and you just need an account, to operate out of. There'll be a bundle of different accounts and possibly credit cards. It can also waive fees for a year or a few months, so it really helps you when you initially land. The major banks in Canada that I would look into are TD, CIBC, Scotiabank, and RBC. Look into newcomer packages. They're so helpful. Phones, I actually talked about this extensively in one of my videos, and I'm going to link to it somehow because I spoke about the different plans you can get and the costs and what I found best to do when you first move. So please do check that out. Oh, and that video has a lot more detailed information about the day-to-day life of living here, travel, phones, etc., food, shopping. So definitely check that out for more ins and outs, for more insights about day-to-day life in Toronto, Canada. Definitely check that out, especially if you've made it to the end of this video, because I think you're maybe moving to Canada. Congratulations, and thank you for watching.